Drum roll, please. Drum roll.
Oh, oh,
Joy to the world. What? What the fuck?
And now for something completely different.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here, and I hope everyone is doing well. And to all you new subscribers, thanks for subscribing, and I hope I can keep your interest long enough. But anyways, I want to get into what this video is going to be about. And, well, let's just say that my plans for starting to build guitar bodies is on its way. Alright, now necks are going to be purchased, so probably like warm mouth necks, something like that. I'm going to try to stay away from all the cheaper shit and not even bother with it. But anyways, I've been gathering tools, parts and stuff that I'm going to need to help me along. So far I've been just getting a few tools for helping with just setups in general, but I've also picked up quite a few things for building. And let's get into some of the tools that I picked up for just doing basic setups.
Hello, I wish to register a complaint. Hello, miss?
What do you mean, miss?
Oh, I'm sorry, I have a cold. I wish to make a complaint.
Oh, sorry, we're closing for lunch.
Never mind that, my lad. I wish to complain about this parrot. What I purchased not half an hour ago from this very boutique.
Oh, yes, the Norwegian Blue. What's wrong with it?
I'll tell you what's wrong with it, my lad. It's dead. That's what's wrong with it.
No, it's resting, look.
It's stone dead.
No, it's resting.
All right, then. If it's resting, I'll wake it up. Hello, Polly! I've got a nice fresh cuttlefish for you if you wake up Mr. Polly Parrot.
There, he moved.
No, he didn't. That was you pushing the cage.
I didn't.
Yes, you did. Hello, Polly! Wakey, wakey! Rise and shine! This is your 9 o'clock alarm call!
Alright, so I ended up making myself a little toolkit for setting up guitars, and everything that I need is inside of this kit. Now, this kit here, you could pick this up on eBay. I think they're like $20 or something like that. And normally inside this kit, you would see on this side there'll be some nut files, which I really didn't care for them too much, so I ended up getting rid of those. You would get for setting up your string action height, and a string winder. Not that big of a deal. Well, in my kit, I have a fret file for doing crowning. I also have some feeler gauges, standard and metric rulers. I keep my 4mm Allen key inside of here, and I also have a capo and the string winder I kind of kept. But I also added a few things more to that kit, which I think everyone should get one of these if they have a Floyd Rose Special, or if they're dealing with Ibanez tremolos like the Edge 3, Edge 2. So let's take a look at those. Alright, for anybody who has a Floyd Rose Special, anything that's similar to that, I kind of recommend getting one of these, okay? Now, they don't work for Ibanez guitars, they don't work for certain type of like Fender guitars and stuff like that, that type of tremolo. But for anything that's a Floyd Rose Special or a Floyd Rose, these things work great. Now this one here, it's also spring loaded, so there is some pressure built behind there, and very, very easy to use. There doesn't come with any instructions on how to use it. It just fits into the plate for the Floyd Rose. This side over here goes on the locking nut, or the locking screw for the string to sit in the saddle, and you just turn it as needed when you are setting your intonation. Now, when doing this, okay, I kind of recommend putting this into position, kind of screwing it up to the back of the head of that locking bolt, and kind of just tightening it up just a little bit, because as soon as you loosen up the locking Allen screw, it's going to move forward a little bit because of the tension of the strings. And if you pull this backwards, of course, you're going to end up having to retune the guitar, moving it forward, same thing. Alright, for Ibanez it's just a little bit different. Basically the same concept, but just a different type of a tool in order to set your intonation on your Edge 3, Edge 2s, your Low Pro Edges, and your Edge Pro from Ibanez. And this is what the tool looks like. Now, as you can kind of see, you see some writing over there, and you see 2 pins sticking out. Well, that's where you would set it up for the Low Pro and the Edge Pro. Otherwise, pretty simple. You basically lock this where your fine-tuning adjustment is on your tremolo, and this would go into the block where it onto the saddle where the block is that locks the string, and you would just bring it backwards or bring it forward. Remember that the tension that is on this string is going to want to pull that saddle forward, so when you put this on, you want to tighten up the tension on it to make sure that it doesn't throw everything too far out of whack. And then you just adjust it whichever direction you need to be for your Ibanez guitars. And it's kind of a nice nifty little tool. I've already had to use it once. I've tested this thing a little bit and it works fucking great. So that's just 2 things that I ended up picking up, and I still have a couple more others, so stay tuned.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, but I can't seem to find the oven gloves anywhere.
Alright, so the next thing that I ended up picking up was basically for setting up the pickup height. Now, I've been using a ruler to do this, and again, it's, you know, a little bit more awkward, time consuming, everything else, so there is a tool that makes it a hell of a lot easier, and that is what these are for. So they kind of look like an Allen wrench. They're not, okay? They are rounded, and they basically, there's 4 sizes here. I ended up marking on what size they are, and you basically take one of these, fret the last fret on the fretboard, and slide this between the string and the pickup, and basically you can measure out where they're set at, and set if you need to, if it's touching the string or whatever. Pretty simple idea, not a big deal. I mean, you could do it with a ruler too, but I kind of like this idea a little bit more. It seems to be just I don't know, just a little bit more easier with this. Anyways, this is the Ernie Ball string winder, okay? Now, they call this the power peg, and the one thing this does not have is a lot of power. So I picked this up off of eBay. This was probably within $20, 19 bucks or something. The construction of it is pretty nice as far as having like a rubber grip over here, rubber grip here, rubber grip here. Anywhere there's green on it's a rubber grip besides the head of this. But as far as how it operates and possibly not being very dependable, that is the question. Now, I shake this thing around. Alright, you hear a lot of noise, okay? And some of that noise is battery, and some of that noise is also the gears up here in the head of this thing. It's, what can I say? It's not a very good product. Now, when I got mine, batteries go into the handle. And as you can see here, there is a terminal plate right there, and you have some pins that stick up on this. Well, when I first got this thing, of course, it has a lock on it, and that lock was engaged. But when I put the batteries inside of it, closed it up, flipped the lock open, and tried to trigger it to see what direction it's going to go in, if it actually was in the right direction, no power. So what I ended up doing is bending these tabs up just a little bit more, giving some more pressure on the spring to make connection with the battery, and now she works. But the only problem with this thing is it does not have a lot of power. So if you're using this on a bass guitar, this thing might start to struggle. If you use this thing on, say, the lower strings of your guitar, this thing might struggle. And I've noticed that it struggles quite a bit. So if I put this in my hand just like this, now it's gripping a little bit, but not as much. I can still turn everything, and I'm not turning the chuck. So if I go and give this a little bit of torque, you can hear it drag. Now, again, I wasn't putting a lot of pressure on the chuck of this thing, and it just seems like under pressure, it's not all that great. So you be the judge of this one. I'll pick this thing up until it explodes. Did someone say explode? Anyways, it'll be good. I'll get some use out of it. It may not whine very fast, but then again, do you really want it to whine really fast to break a string or what? But I've seen others like this that work a lot better. So just a little bit of a review. So let's get to some more stuff that I picked up.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for some more of those moments of television when things don't go quite the way that they'd planned. It's my foot! Get it out! Get it out, please. These things happen in the best of studios. And this ain't the best of studios.
Alright, so let's get into these templates that I ended up picking up from StewBack. Now, I probably could have made these templates myself, but I rather purchase them when you have to go through the hassle of trying to make them myself, and it just makes things a lot easier. So let's show you what I got. Now, I showed these guys in a previous hangout, and believe me, I tend to use them. So what do I have? Here is a Strat pickup cavity template. Now it also gives you the depth of how far you should cut down into the body of the guitar. So this is a Strat style. This one here is a Tele neck. Also gives the depth, which these two here are, it was probably a waste of money just buying one or buying the other. I should have just bought one of these. So they're pretty much the same. They're pretty damn close as far as size goes. One of them is just a little bit smaller than the other. Not by much. And here is a Tele bridge. And the nice thing about this too is it also gives you the cutouts or the holes to drill out for your strings if you're going to go through the body, have a through body string. Now here is a humbucker, which is kind of nice, alright, because this gives you depth dimensions for Gibson carved tops, Gibson flat tops, and Fender. So if you're going to put this, I'll put a humbucker on a Fender test style guitar. This tells you what it is, and it gives you basically bridge and neck as far as the dimensions of how deep to cut. Now today I ended up getting a care package from StewMac, as you can see, and in that package was a few other templates that I'm going to need. Like I said, I'm planning on buying like necks from Warmouth, you know, something that's a quality neck, so I want those necks to fit pretty good. So I picked up templates. It's a Fender template, but it gives you for Strat, which is basically rounded a little bit here, and it gives you for Tele, which is basically flat on the bottom. It also gives you a straight line going all the way through it, so you can line up center and make a perfect cut. Now, how would you attach this to a piece of wood when you can't really drill holes through this, you can't drill holes through the body and stuff like that? Double face tape. If you buy good quality 3M double face tape, the thin stuff, not the real thick stuff, you're able to double face tape, as long as the surface is clean, double face this to the body of the guitar, and this will not move around. Also, what I end up picking up are two other templates. Basically this goes with this. So when you put this on top, it basically gives you, well, it would help if I had this the right way, there you go. It basically gives you your cutout for your cavity for your controls, alright? And you have this one here you can use for the cover plate you're making, and to route out the little lip of the cover plate so it sits down and on flush with the body. And then this one here is basically your control cavity. Now it does give you a depth as far as how deep this should be, but that is also going to vary by the thickness of the guitar that you're making. So if you're making something that's a thinner profile guitar, you may not want to use the depth that it says on here, because you might go through to the other side. And this also gives you the hole pattern to drill as far as where you're going to make your holes for your cover plate to stay on. Now this does not have those holes, so you don't have a pattern for figuring out how this is going to go on top of this. So there's going to be a little bit of a way that I'm going to do this that makes it a lot easier. But then again, what's nice about this is I can use this to make a cover plate out of plastic or whatever. So that's about it. Everything is here. I still need to get a planer and a joiner, and I'll start going to town as far as building goes. I have a place over here where I can get any type of lumber that I need for building a guitar, and including stuff that they do build guitar bodies out of. And it's not that expensive getting it directly from a mill than it would be from buying it from StewMac or someplace else. And again, when I start doing this, all of these bodies are going to be one of a kind. I'm not going to make duplicate bodies of guitars. So if somebody sees something and they like it, you better let me know before I throw it up on eBay or something, if I decide to sell them. And let me know what you think, what you want, or however, and I'll see what I can do. But as far as making a duplicate of these guitars goes, not going to happen, so I'm not going to do it. One of a kind is one of a kind, and it is what it is. Trying to make a guitar the same way as the first one is very, very difficult. Okay, especially if you do a lot of artwork on it, it may look the same, but there's going to be some differences in it. And maybe something is not centered the same way, maybe something is drawn darker than or burned in, or whatever. However I did it, there's always going to be a difference. Same thing with, say, the Dead Man guitar. If I end up building another Dead Man guitar, which I do have somebody who kind of wants one of those, I'll need to build them a Dead Man guitar, and I'm trying to see about that. But the problem with the Dead Man guitar is the top on there, which was a veneer, I'm not going to have the same top on that guitar that I did the first one. It's going to be different, and that's not something I can control. So we'll see how this works out, how it's going to happen. But thanks for watching, thanks for subbing, thanks for the thumbs up, thanks for the thumbs down, and take it easy, everybody. Take care.